Welcome to my channel. Ji-hyun was a poor girl whose family couldn't afford to pay her bills. She mistreated a VIP customer as a regular one on her first day of work as a receptionist at a mall. Ji-hyun hurried over and kneeled on one knee when the tycoon's son got in his car and stretched his arms, but the customer chastised her for not recognizing his license plate. Ji-hyun quickly ran over to see the license plate. It turned out that this was a VIP guest of the shopping center. She had pointed the wrong direction just now, so she quickly apologized, but this rich guy still refused to let it go. He thought her not making any hand gestures meant she was looking down on him. The girl looked surprised, then she smiled brightly and used perfect hand gestures to welcome guests, but as soon as the car rolled away, her colleague started causing trouble. The colleague criticized him for being a lunatic, but after saying that this guy admitted that things were not okay, he got angry and got out of the car. He thought Ji-hyun was the girl who was speaking wildly. Her colleague standing next to her rushed to explain, but he pushed this girl down. Seeing that her colleague was injured, Ji-hyun, who always followed common sense, started arguing with that unreasonable and arrogant rich boy. This made the rich guy even angrier at this time. The manager knew the news, so he quickly ran over and started criticizing Ji-hyun. The manager wants her to immediately apologize. It turns out that this rich guy is not only a VIP guest here, but also the second son Soo-ho of the group's chairman. If this matter is not handled properly, everyone here and even the manager could lose their jobs, because Ji-hyun didn't want to involve her colleagues, so she had to apologize, and the extravagant Soo-ho is still not satisfied with her apology. She said, "What should I do? Should I kneel down?" But she didn't expect the manager to make her kneel down and apologize. Ji-hyun actually kneeled down in front of Soo-ho. She begged him for forgiveness. Looking at the girl kneeling on the ground, Soo-ho also realized that this time he was a bit too much, so he consoled himself and left. Actually, he is not a person who likes to cause trouble without cause, but just because the family wanted to intermarry recently, they wanted him to marry Lady Chai-ah of the tycoon family, who he didn't like. He was angry but had no place to vent, so he vented his anger on this girl. But this story doesn't stop there. The girl kneeling down was filmed by passers-by and posted online soon. That video was on a hot search. The downside of the news is that it causes the group's stock price to plummet. The chairman's father was extremely angry and scolded. Soo-ho, the chairman, also asked if it was because Soo-ho was dissatisfied with his arrangement of the marriage that he protested. Soo-ho did not dare to argue back and just promised his father that he would resolve this matter. Then he went to find the other girl, as expected of Soo-ho's style. He took out 2 piles of money and gave it to her to ease this matter, because he thought she intentionally knelt down and posted photos online to demand money, although her family background is poor. Ji-hyun extremely despises people with behavior like his. Before that, she knelt just because she didn't want to involve her colleagues. At this moment, he suddenly had a headache, then began to vomit, and finally fell to the ground. She patted his face and saw that he wasn't pretending, so she rushed him to the hospital. When she was about to find Soo-ho's phone to contact his family, she saw 2 bundles of money in his pocket. Just now he gave it to her, but she didn't take it, so of course she won't steal it now. Remembering Soo-ho's previous bad attitude, she stuffed the money back into his pocket and turned to leave. Seeing the other people in the hospital bed next to staring, Ji-hyun didn't feel secure, so she had to turn back. She thought what to do if someone stole the money. Ji-hyun said that because she was afraid of losing it, she kept it for him. When Soo-ho woke up, the doctor told him a truth that was difficult to accept, that he had terminal cancer. At most, he would only live another half a year. After hearing the news, he was extremely desperate. When he left the hospital, he met Ji-hyun, who came to pay, but right now he was no longer in the mood to talk to her. But when Ji-hyun took out the money, Soo-ho had already left. When got in the car, Soo-ho finally let go of his stubborn disguise. He felt extremely confused, scared, and insecure, but he couldn't tell anyone. He hated God for being unfair. Why did he get cancer when he was young? Although everyone only has a limited amount of time for people with cancer who have to count down to see how long they have left to live. Like Soo-ho, this is an unacceptable shock. He is Soo-ho, the top tycoon in Korea. Every day, he repeats extremely boring things like eating, partying, socializing, and celebrating his birthday with his fiancée. The assistant standing next to him immediately handed him a 100-carat necklace. As for the marriage partner Chai-ah that his father arranged for him, he also pretended to say love, and then he put a necklace on her. Everything he did was just to deal with the reporter taking photos next to him. When the reporter left, he tore off the disguise and threw the wine glass hard on the ground. He shouted loudly, wanting to chase Chai-ah away. Ji-hyun and Chai-ah's birthdays take place on the same day, but their birthdays are completely opposite. Receiving a simple birthday gift from Ji-hyun's boyfriend was extremely happy, so when hearing Min Suk suggest postponing their wedding for a better future, the honest Ji-hyun immediately agreed. That night, Chai-ah received a phone call from Soo-ho. She was full of excitement and went to Suho's house, but when she rang the doorbell, the person who opened the door was a drunk woman wearing a red nightgown. Chai cannot accept this. She entered the house, and the house was a mess, and Suho was drunk and passed out lying on the bed, witnessing the scene before her eyes. Chai knew clearly what had happened. She looked at the drunken woman before her eyes as Suho's fiancée. A feeling of humiliation welled up in her heart. Obviously, the woman in the red dress also clearly saw Chai's confusion, so she quickly ran to explain. She said they didn't do anything because Suho hired her to dress this way to fool Chai, but the truth is as true as what she said. Suho knew he had an incurable disease. He was so sad that he found someone to drink alcohol to relieve his sadness. The girl in the red dress even laughed and said Suho probably didn't want to marry Chai. That's why he did that. That sentence touched Chai's pain. Chai took the bag and hit the girl in the red dress because of the family's commercial marriage. Suho has no feelings for Chai, yet now even a humble woman laughs at Chai, making her unable to suppress her anger to receive money. The girl in the red dress had to endure it silently, but Chai was still angry. She took all money and threw it into the pool, as if she wanted to insult the girl in the red dress. After speaking, Chai left angrily. When she went to the hallway, she saw her bag covered in blood. Chai didn't think much and immediately threw her bag into the trash can next to her. Inside the house, the woman in the red dress silently wiped the tears from her face. Right now, she doesn't have time to worry about the humiliation. Just now she panicked and ran to the swimming pool, reached out to grab the money floating in the pool, and suddenly felt dizzy. She then fell into the pool. The woman in red is named Ji-eun. She was originally an obedient girl, but because of her poor family background, she had to share a bunk bed with her sister Ji-hyun just because of who would wake up and turn off the alarm clock. She argued with her sister, but the older sister still loves this younger sister very much. Every morning the older sister cooks all kinds of dishes for the younger sister, but unfortunately they have a mother addicted to gambling. Not only did she lose all the money in the house, but she also borrowed a large sum of money. The creditor has repeatedly come to the house to collect the debt. The whole family lives on Ji-hyun's sister's small salary. This time, to get back the capital, the mother took the amount of 10 million won that Ji-hyun kept for Suho. The result was a total loss, seeing that her family's house was about to be taken away by creditors. Ji-eun, who was still in school, had to work part-time at a nightclub to earn money to pay off her mother's debt. Unexpectedly, the first time she went to work, she lost her life. Suho woke up from a nap and saw that the woman he called last night had now died at the swimming pool after calling 2 sentences, but the woman in the pool still didn't move. Suho suddenly realized something was wrong, so he immediately jumped into the water to pick her up, but it was too late. The girl had stopped breathing a long time ago at this time. Min-suk is working as a lawyer for Suho's tycoon family. Follow his superior here. As soon as he saw this scene, he realized that the girl was his girlfriend's younger sister. He looked at Suho with disbelief, but because he was drunk last night, Suho was completely unaware of what happened. He couldn't understand how a person who was normal yesterday suddenly died in his house upon receiving the news. Ji-hyun ran quickly to the place when she saw her younger sister's body. She collapsed. She began to cry in despair. She couldn't believe that the younger sister she loved the most would suddenly leave her. Seeing Ji-hyun suffering, her boyfriend Minuk next to her remembered that he found a pen of his at the murder scene. That was the pen that Chai took away before. He already guessed something in his heart, but he didn't say anything. Not long after Ji-eun's body was taken away by the police. Suho was also taken to the police station for investigation, but very soon he was released again. Obviously, this is the power of the tycoon. Someone has already arranged everything behind his back. As soon as he returned home, his father questioned him and asked if it was really him who did it. Suho replied that it didn't matter whether he did it or not. Didn't Dad already think like that as the first witnesses at the scene? So Min-suk and his superior were both called into the office by the chairman. The chairman asked them what they thought about this incident based on the pen he picked up at the scene. Min-suk guessed that this incident was related to Chai, but when faced with the president's question, he said that he found a wound on the victim's head. Perhaps while drunk, Suho hit her on the head. The girl carelessly fell into the pool and drowned. As for Suho, perhaps after sobering up, he forgot his behavior. After listening to Min-suk's speculation, the chairman took out 2 checks and told the 2 of them to quickly resolve this case. They can enter any number they want. Min-suk then went to find Chai. He took out the pen he found at the scene. He asked if she had gone to the scene of the murder, but Chai firmly denied it. Min-suk then told Chai that he just wanted to know what happened that night, but Chai-ah said that whether she gave this pen to the president or the police, it was up to him because this matter had nothing to do with her. After returning, Min Suk remembered the president's words. On one side was his girlfriend, who had been in love with him for many years, and on the other side was a large amount of money. How will he choose? Have you ever seen a woman as pitiful as this? The younger sister, who was still at school age, unfortunately passed away, and the mother, who was hiding from creditors, didn't even show up at her daughter's funeral. Even more tragic is that she has no money to bury her younger sister. As for Min Suk's boyfriend, who had been with her for many years and witnessed everything, he decided to leave. Then he went to look for Chai-ah again. He told Chai-ah that he went to look at the surveillance cameras. Right after discovering the case, he saw that Chai-ah went into Suho's room that night. He then took out a USB and said that the camera's original memory had been erased. This is the only video that still exists. Faced with that evidence, Chai-ah could not help but admit that she had been to the scene of the crime that night. Furthermore, she also hit Ji-eun on the head at this time. Min Suk was completely clear that Ji-eun was indirectly killed by Chai-ah. He helplessly asked Min Suk what to do. Min Suk tells her that he will handle everything. Moreover, he also gave that only video to her not long after he went looking for Ji-hyun, but he told Ji-hyun that her younger sister was at the hotel alone. No one was with Ji-eun in the police station when the police asked Suho if there was anyone else there that night. Suho remembered that he had called Chai-ah and called her to his house to tell her he wouldn't marry her, but he lied to the police and said he didn't remember anything. He then went to find Chai-ah and asked her if she would come to his house that night after receiving the phone call. Chai-ah pretends to calmly tell Suho that she didn't go there, and she lied that she was with another man at that time. Hearing Chai-ah's answer, Suho had nothing to say. After all, he had always had an unfriendly attitude towards her. The secretary then gave him Ji-eun's will documents that they had quietly investigated. Suho scolded the secretary for doing work arbitrarily. Only after the secretary left did he open that piece of paper, but he saw a woman he was very familiar with. He didn't expect Ji-eun to be that woman's younger sister. The next day, Ji-hyun received a notice from the police station saying that her sister left this world on her own after getting drunk. Ji-hyun did not believe the investigation results at all. Ji-hyun angrily stormed into the police station. She couldn't believe her younger sister would do such a foolish thing. She wants the police to continue investigating. At this time, the police took Ji-hyun's younger sister's phone and told her that Ji-eun had left a will before she died. It turned out that a message had been written but not yet sent. How could this be considered a will? She begged the police to investigate again, but the police only advised her to stay calm. At this time, the police chief passed by. She sadly begged him not to stop investigating her younger sister's case. That scene all caught Suho's eyes, looking at Ji-hyun sitting on the ground crying in pain. He suddenly remembered that when he was a child, when his mother passed away, he was just as desperate. He wanted to know if he actually killed Ji-eun or not. Ji-hyun had no other choice but to find Min Suk. She asked him to help her investigate the cause of her younger sister's death. Ji-hyun did not believe that Ji-eun would end her life like that, but Min Suk told her that Ji-eun actually did it. Furthermore, he also gave her a business card. He said that if she looked for this person, she would know the truth. Ji-hyun found the blonde guy named Kong in Bell. According to the address on the business card, this person told her that her younger sister had been working as a prostitute at his place for several years. Every time her family needs money, she comes here. Moreover, he also said that Ji-eun often said that because of family pressure she wanted to live more comfortably. Ji-hyun sadly returned to her younger sister's funeral. The funeral home staff told her that a man had come here to pay for the funeral. Ji-hyun quickly chased after she thought it was Min Suk's boyfriend, but she couldn't see him anywhere. But right now Suho is hiding in a corner looking at that poor girl. The person who paid for her younger sister's burial was him. Ji-hyun took out the phone to call Min Suk again, but Min Suk intentionally did not pick up. Ji-hyun did not know that at this moment he was giving the check with the written amount to the president. Seeing the number on the plaque, the president was very surprised because Min Suk wrote it as $1,000,000,000 on the other side. Although, under his father's arrangement, Ji-eun's death was considered to be her own departure from this world, Suho still could not know whether he really killed someone or not. He still silently observed every move of Ji-hyun. Every time he sees Ji-hyun crying in pain, the feeling of guilt in his heart will become stronger and stronger. Suho knew he didn't have much time left. Perhaps because of the honesty hidden deep within him, he felt he had to investigate this matter clearly, so he went looking for professionals. He said he wanted to restore the entire deleted memory of the surveillance camera. The footage was restored, but nothing was discovered, but he didn't know that this was actually Min Suk's arrangement. Min Suk even pretended to say he would introduce an expert to Suho to help restore that camera footage. This expert has been bribed for a long time, including the blonde guy. Kong and Bell that Ji-hyun went looking for last time was also arranged by Min-suk. Even the fake will on Ji-eun's cell phone that the police held was created by Min-suk at this time. The only video he copied was thrown into the sea by Chai-ah. Ji-hyun did not believe that Ji-eun would leave this world on her own. After a moment of hesitation, she decided to do an autopsy. But as soon as she hung up the police phone, Min-suk received the news, but he was not afraid at all that the younger sister's body was taken away by the police. Ji-eun sat miserable in the rain. She did not know that the person behind manipulating everything was her boyfriend. Min-suk of years Ji-hyun witnessed with her own eyes the forensic autopsy of her younger sister's body. She suppressed her fear and guilt in her heart to wait for the results. Finally, there were autopsy results, but the forensic conclusions made Ji-hyun unable to accept the autopsy results, which showed that Ji-eun's head was damaged and she died from being drunk and drowning in the water. Obviously, this is the result that Min-suk controlled. Although Ji-hyun couldn't believe the result, she had to reluctantly accept the truth after cremating her younger sister's body. Ji-hyun absent-mindedly walked home alone, but she saw a middle-aged man cooking noodles in the house. The man told Ji-hyun her mother used this house to pay off debt. Seeing the documents in the man's hand, Ji-hyun couldn't believe that her mother not only owed a huge amount of money, but was now using this house to pay off the debt. When she was packing her luggage and preparing to leave, she suddenly saw a gift that her younger sister had planned to give her. It was a birthday gift for Ji-hyun. The feelings inside are extremely complicated, but when Ji-hyun was about to leave, the man blocked the door, even showing an evil expression. As a result, after being kicked painfully by Ji-hyun, this man continued to chase Ji-hyun. Then Soo-ho suddenly appeared, blocking this man's way. Ji-hyun had nowhere to go, so she had to sit on the side of the road. She looked at the birthday gift. Her younger sister gave her the good times in the past that still seemed like they were yesterday. She finally smiled, a smile she hadn't seen in a long time, but after a moment of smiling, tears welled up in her eyes. Soo-ho didn't feel secure, so he sat in the car silently watching her. Ji-hyun walked alone in the rain, letting the rain water wet her face. The world is so vast, but she doesn't know where she should go after the death of the younger sister. The escape of the mother. At this moment, she felt like she no longer had any joy in this world. Soo-ho noticed something unusual, so he quickly got out of the car. He crossed the busy traffic and hugged Ji-hyun, then angrily said that she was tired of living. Ji-hyun said that she was tired of this life. People who want to die can't die. People who want to come back to life don't have much time left. The rain became heavier and heavier, as if the sky were crying for these two young people with a difficult fate. Soo-ho's eyes became soft. He felt that he only had a short time left to live, so he had to carefully watch over this girl in front of him. Ji-hyun was extremely puzzled by his sudden concern, of course. Soo-ho couldn't tell Ji-hyun his true thoughts, so he found an excuse that he wanted her to pay him $1 million, so he did that. Ji-hyun promised to pay him back, so she told him not to worry too much. But looking at Ji-hyun's current appearance, Soo-ho cannot feel secure. Then Ji-hyun was pulled into the car by Soo-ho. Actually, he was worried that Ji-hyun in this state would do something stupid at this time. Soo-ho did not know that a big trouble aimed at him was being prepared. This man is the eldest son Soo-kol of the Cha family of tycoons, and is also the brother who won inheritance rights with Soo-ho. When he learned that Soo-ho likely killed Ji-eun, he summoned many media to prepare to reveal this news. Such Cole is determined to push his half-brother into the mud. At this moment, Min-suk stopped him, hoping he would think again about what to say in front of the reporters, because Min-suk knows the truth of the incident. If this story is revealed to the media, it will be disadvantageous for him. After hearing that Chaya was also coming here, she said the story that Such Cole had borrowed someone else's identity to secretly buy shares in the company to threaten him, but Soo-chul is indifferent to her threat. Then he even provoked Cha. After hearing this news, Soo-ho told Ji-hyun to sit in the car, and he appeared at the press conference scene. The two brothers met, and the atmosphere suddenly became tense. Soo-ho asked what his older brother wanted to do. Such Chul didn't bother to hide it, but said frankly he wanted Soo-ho to transfer % of Soo-ho's nominal shares to him. If Soo-ho agrees, he will hide Soo-ho's secret forever. Everyone looked nervously at Soo-ho. Soo-ho laughed and told Such Chul, "You just reveal everything for a person who is about to die. What else is there to fear?" After that, he stood on stage and intended to tell the truth to reporters, but at this moment Ji-hyun walked into the hall. Soo-ho, who was confident and fearless, immediately became timid. Min-suk, who was in the hall, also noticed Ji-hyun. Soo-ho looked at Ji-hyun, and looking at him, he remembered Ji-hyun's painful cry. Along with that helpless and desperate expression, the words that reached his mouth were immediately swallowed back. In the end, he still didn't have the courage to tell the truth. His actions angered his older brother. Sue, regardless of the many reporters at the scene, rushed forward and pulled Soo-ho off the stage and pushed him to the ground. The reporters at the scene raised their cameras. Everyone wanted to take pictures of the two rich brothers fighting Ji-hyun and Chae-ah, but Min-suk, Ji-hyun's boyfriend, chose to stay by Chae-ah's side to protect her at the same time. Soo-ho walked out of the hall under intense questioning by reporters. He got in the car and panicked and left. Not long after the president learned about all of his eldest son's actions and immediately became angry, he raised the glass of wine in his hand and threw it hard at Such Chol, but the glass of wine suddenly hit Min-suk on the head. Blood kept flowing, but Mino could only suffer in silence. Soo-ho went to find Ji-hyun. He carefully helped her bandage her scratches, then he took her to his restaurant. He knew Ji-hyun had fasted all day but didn't know her taste, so he ordered her a lot of food. Seeing that Ji-hyun was not interested in food, Soo-ho called the chef over and said to throw it all away. Ji-hyun was afraid of wasting food, so she started eating. This is the power of the rich child. He clearly wanted Ji-hyun to eat more but acted like he was being stubborn. Then, while Ji-hyun was sleeping, Soo-ho thoughtfully covered her with a blanket. But the next day he continued to act like a rich child and arrogant. He forced Ji-hyun to sign a paper promising to pay 1,000,000 won. Soo-ho's purpose in doing so is to be able to know all of Ji-hyun's actions. Then he went to Ji-hyun's house again. He helped her mother pay off all the debt and redeemed their house. And he also heard news of Ji-hyun's mother through the middle-aged man's words. Then Soo-ho went to find Min-suk and gave him the reputation of being a good person, so that Jae-hyun went to see her boyfriend who never showed up when she was having difficulties. At this moment Min-suk's eyes were no longer affectionate. The person he once loved dearly has now turned into a stranger. When they met again, he no longer said sweet words. He drove Ji-hyun to the place where her mother was being held, then told her that her mother was detained here for fraud. Now the debt has been paid. Off the house has been redeemed, she can go see her mother later. When Ji-hyun asked him where he got so much money to pay off her mother's debt, he nonchalantly said to break up in this world. The hardest words to say between two people who love each other are the sentence to break up 6 years of love, and yet it was easy to say to break up. Ji-hyun couldn't accept it, and asked Min-suk when his feelings started to change. But Min-suk didn't want to explain it all and got in the car and left. Her younger sister passed away, her boyfriend accidentally said goodbye, and finally Ji-hyun's tears fell endlessly. This scene was seen by Soo-ho sitting in the car far away. This mother had just walked out of prison when she heard her eldest daughter tell her the bad news that her second daughter had passed away. Looking into Ji-eun's ear, the mother couldn't help but shed tears of regret. She could not believe that she had only been locked in prison for a few days and her youngest daughter had left her forever. She blamed Ji-hyun for holding such a simple funeral. Ji-hyun collapsed and had to tell her mother actually when she was alive. Ji-eun, in order to help mother pay off her debt, went to work at an illegal job placement center, which is why she lost her life. The mother couldn't believe it. She picked up her bag and quickly turned around and left. Then she went to find the middle-aged man who had lent her money before. It turned out that Tong had told the mother before that if she needed money she would take Ji-eun to work there. At that time the mother only thought he was joking but did not expect that her daughter would actually be taken there to earn money to pay off her debt. But Ji-hyun said these things aren't important already. The most important thing right now is to clearly investigate the cause of Ji-eun's death. It seems that the loss of her daughter's life is not simple at all. Obviously Tae-sung knows something to quickly investigate the cause of her daughter's death. The mother had to flatter Ta-sun, but he is an extremely cunning man. He refused to mention a word about Ji-eun's story, but the mother felt that perhaps he was holding some evidence elsewhere. Ji-eun was working when she received a notice from the director telling her to go receive VIP guests. When Ji-eun carried the things to help the rich girl go to her boyfriend's side, she discovered that the other man was Min-suk. Her boyfriend just broke up with her not long ago. Yesterday he broke up with his girlfriend of years, and the next day he was holding hands with a rich girl. Ji-hyun finally knew the reason Min-suk asked to break up. Chae-ah chooses an expensive vest for Min-suk. Ji-hyun finally spoke up. She said this gentleman's figure is a bit skinny. Maybe a slim shirt would suit him better. Chae-ah turned her head to look at Ji-hyun, who had just spoken. She suddenly felt like this staff seemed to have seen somewhere before, but Chae-ah couldn't remember where she had seen this girl before. When Chae-ah went to the bathroom, Min-suk was about to explain to Ji-hyun. When she interrupted, she said she wouldn't interfere in his privacy anymore. Chae-ah returned from the bathroom to see her fiancé. Soo-oh was also at the store. She quickly pulled Min-suk up to leave, but Ji-hyun followed behind because she was carrying too many things and accidentally fell down. Suo was passing by and saw this scene after saying a few rude words. Suo used the excuse of needing staff and pulled Ji-hyun away, leaving Chae-ah with a suspicious look on her face at this moment. Chae-ah remembered that the woman just now was the family member of the girl she killed who appeared at the press conference that day. Min-suk returned to the company while working. He received a bouquet of fresh flowers and a gift box. When he opened the box, there was a USB inside. The contents of the USB made even a calm person like Min-suk tremble in fear. That's the video from the day Ji-eun's incident happened. At that moment, he received a phone call. The mysterious person said I knew about Min-suk covering up the case and even threatened Min-suk to do as he said. Min-suk followed the instructions in the call to the door and saw a man signaling him to get in the car. This man is Tong. It turned out that he had previously used Min-suk's name to become an employee who personally installed surveillance cameras at the swimming pool and then got the video of Chae-ah beating Ji-eun. He knows that the one who hides the truth and benefits from this is Min-suk, so he came to find Mel. He said that if that video was leaked, many people would be in trouble. Perhaps Min-suk will be the one in the biggest trouble. Even Ji-hyun and Min-suk also cheated her. He was disgusted by Min-suk's actions, Tan said. Suo now thinks he killed Ji-eun. If you don't want Suo and the chairman to know that you're hiding this matter, then you have to go ask Chae-ah for $1 billion and generously say that after this case is successful, I will give you %. Min-suk had no other choice but to prepare money on Suo's side. He went to see the doctor again to ask about his illness. The doctor told him there was currently no way to continue prolonging his life after hearing the doctor's words. Suo was no longer angry like before. He smiled in pain and left the hospital. He decided not to think anymore. In the short time left, he will live his life to the fullest for himself. This time Ji-hyun came to find him because both his identity and position made others dare not despise him. She begged him to help her investigate the truth of her younger sister's death. At this moment, Suo was not sure if he truly wanted to protect this girl in front of him, or if he was just feeling sorry for her. In the end, he decided not to care about Ji-hyun anymore and left this place. He wanted to find a quiet place to live the rest of his days. Ji-hyun's mother came to find Tong again. She wanted to hear him tell a few words about Ji-eun's story, but after only 3 beers, Tong was so drunk that he passed out. Ji-hyun was worried about her mother, so she came to see her mother. At that moment, there was a banging sound on the door. Ji-hyun and her mother quickly hid behind the desk. A few thugs came in. The leader of the group was Kong and Bell from the illegal job placement place. They asked Taesun where the evidence was. It was the video of Chae-ah at the pool that day. Ji-hyun and her mother hid behind the table and heard their conversation clearly on Mino's side. Troublesome people come to him one after another. The employee who installed the camera illegally found Min-suk. This person knew that Min-suk received $1 billion thanks to the swimming pool case, but he had nothing. This person asked Min-suk to give him $1 billion. Otherwise, Min-suk's true face will be revealed. Min-suk has no choice but to borrow money from Chae-ah. She didn't ask why and immediately agreed. After going through what happened that night, she gradually became attached to Min-suk, and at the same time, she also appreciated him for helping her hide it in the middle of a busy airport. Suo's figure looked extremely lonely. He looked around, knowing that this might be the last time he visited this place at this moment. Ji-hyun was extremely worried and ran to stop Suo, who was about to board the plane. She begged him to help her, saying that her younger sister had been recorded by surveillance cameras at the swimming pool that day. Hearing Ji-hyun men on the surveillance camera, Suo was a bit hesitant because up until now he still wasn't sure whether he had harmed Ji-eun or not. But through Ji-hyun, Suo learned that the surveillance camera had recorded the scene at the swimming pool. He decided not to go anymore. At first he thought he had harmed Ji-eun. Now he just wanted to clarify what happened that night to clearly understand the incident. Suo intended to spend $1 million to buy that video because he was greedy. He quoted a price of $1 billion, but then he contacted Min-suk to sell the video. The second time, he arranged for both of them to arrive at the location he sent at tonight. While Tang was waiting to hug both Suo and Min-suk, Ji-hyun's mother quietly followed. After following for a while, she finally found where Tae-sung was hiding. As soon as she encountered him, she threw prepared gasoline on him and at the same time took out a lighter, wanting to die with him. Tan started to get scared, immediately took out the USB, and started entice Ji-hyun's mother. Tan said that he had a plan today. He planned to meet the person who covered up Ji-eun's case. Tan also said that he did all of this for Ji-eun, But Ji-hyun's mother did not know that Taesung's purpose for this trip was for money. On the other hand, Min Suk cunningly arranged a date to meet with Kong and Bell. He promised Kong and Bell that if you could get the video from Tun's hands, I would give you 1 billion. Kong and Bell also said that he would keep it absolutely secret. That evening Taesung took Ji-hyun's mother with him to the transaction location, seeing that the traitor was Ji-hyun's ex-boyfriend. Ji-hyun's mother was extremely surprised. Min Suk saw Ji-hyun's mother sitting in the car and quickly waved for the truck to stop, but it was too late. Kong and Bell drove the truck towards Ton and Ji-hyun's mother's car. The car could not withstand the pressure and exploded right now. Kong and Bell is upset. He did not expect the car to explode. He was extremely disappointed because he hadn't gotten the surveillance video yet, which was something worth 1 billion, and Min Suk behind him was secretly happy that as long as this person disappeared, this matter would be over. Min Suk picked up a brick, and when Kong and Bell wasn't paying attention, he hit the brick hard on this person's head in just a short time. Ji-hyun lost her only 2 relatives. The younger sister worked at a nightclub to help her mother pay off debts, then unfortunately passed away. The mother, who had just been released from prison, wanted to investigate her daughter's affairs, so she also encountered misfortune. The constant loss made Ji-hyun's heart go numb. In the end, she had no way to accept the truth and stood on the rooftop. Luckily, Soo-oh was always quietly protecting her side and ran to her. In time, it turned out that because her younger sister and mother passed away in succession, Ji-hyun locked herself in the house for days. Soo-oh called her, but she didn't answer. He knocked on the door, but no one answered, so he had to climb up to the window to try to break the glass and call Ji-hyun's name, but still no one in the room responded. After he smashed it many times, the glass door finally broke. Soo-oh immediately went into the house, but soon he was startled to discover that the room was unusually quiet. A terrifying image suddenly appeared in his mind. When he was young in a room like this, he witnessed his mother do something foolish. He slowly pushed the door and opened. At that moment, Ji-hyun suddenly walked out of the bathroom. Soo-oh breathed a sigh of relief. Soo-oh loudly questioned why Ji-hyun didn't speak up. Just now, Ji-hyun explained that she was taking a shower. She told Soo-oh to get out immediately. Ji-hyun finally couldn't take it anymore and sat down on the floor and cried. Actually, Soo-oh's hunch was not wrong. Just now, Ji-hyun really intended to do something stupid in the bathroom. Fortunately, Soo-oh ran there. In time, she heard Soo-oh's knocking on the door, so she stopped. But this wasn't over yet. Ji-hyun went to the swimming pool where her sister had an accident and drank a sip of strong alcohol. The scene of playing with her younger sister seems like it happened yesterday. She called Soo-oh, apologized to him, and said she wouldn't be able to pay him 1 million. Ji-hyun then thanked him for always helping her. Soo-oh realized something unusual in her words. He comforted her while trying to run as fast as he could. At that moment, a car traveling at high speed hit him, causing him to fall onto the road. He still has an unfinished thing. He can't die now. He didn't pay attention to the wound on his body. At this moment, the only thought in his heart was to protect Ji-hyun. Soo-oh promptly ran over, surprising Ji-hyun, but now she was no longer in the mood to think deeply. Seeing that Ji-hyun had made up her mind, Soo-oh walked to Ji-hyun's side and climbed up to the rooftop. Soo-oh took off his mask and told Ji-hyun about his unforgettable lifelong pain from when he was a child. He remembers when he was little when his mother just passed away, and his father always said it was his fault. Soo-oh couldn't help but cry. Ji-hyun also felt the intense pain hidden deep in Soo-oh's heart when she heard Soo-oh say he would jump down with her. Ji-eun pulled him back, and then both of them fell down the stairs. Although the stairs on the rooftop are not high, this still gave Ji-hyun a completely different perception of life. She moved out of that house filled with pain and rented an apartment with her best friend. Unexpectedly, on the first day of moving, she saw Soo-oh also moving into the apartment next door. Ji-hyun was extremely surprised. She wondered why he kept following her in the morning. He called the chef to prepare a cart full of breakfast to take to Ji-hyun's house, so Ji-hyun also invited Soo-oh to eat a meal she cooked to express her thanks. From then on, the two people's feelings gradually deepened. The two people were only separated by a wall, and suddenly discovered that they could clearly hear the other person's voice. Ji-hyun wondered if Soo-oh intentionally rented this house without soundproofing. Soo-oh was confused and could only use an excuse to let the matter go. Soo-oh didn't know anything about Ji-hyun's change in mentality before she thought that she was alone in this world, but now she realizes that Soo-oh is always by her side, even though he often angrily scolded her. He didn't realize the warmth he brought to her. They then began to publicly investigate. Ji-hyun searched for witnesses present at the scene around the accident site, and Suo went to Kong and Bel's workplace from the story of the girl working at the nightclub. Suo learned that Kong and Bell was the one who introduced Ji-eun to his room that day. Moreover, after Ji-eun had an accident, this man also received a large amount of money and even exchanged it for a new car. The police announced that Kong and Bell was the one who caused the accident that caused Ji-hyun's mother to die. Suo feels that this is not just a coincidence. Why did Kong and Bell kill Ji-hyun's mother? Suo then investigated Kong and Bell's call history and discovered that he had called Min-suk many times. As for Min-suk, he went to find Chae-ah and asked her for $1,000,000. Furthermore, he didn't even explain the reason. Unexpectedly, Chae-ah agreed. Min-suk didn't say much but just took Chae-ah to the house of the guard, who revealed the original surveillance video. He told the guard that because the guard kept that video, so 3 people died. He threw the suitcase on the floor and told the guard to take it and leave far away. Min-suk also threatened the security guard that if any problems occurred in the future, he and his family would be retaliated against. Chae-ah, standing in front of the door, was extremely frightened. She did not expect that Min-suk, who usually looked polite, could say such things for the first time. She felt the fear of the man in front of her, but the next day, Chae-ah had restored her normal appearance. She not only introduced a TV station director for Min-suk to get to know but also gave him a gift after returning home. Min-suk opened it and immediately panicked because inside is a tie that he wore when he murdered Kong and Bell. Apparently this tie had also fallen off the cliff with Kong and Bell at that time. But now it appeared before his eyes. Min-suk thought he had hidden it very well, so right now he was extremely panicked. A few days ago, Kong and Bell drove a car and hit the car that Ji-hyun's mother was sitting in, ultimately causing Ji-hyun's mother to die. After that incident, Min-suk attacked him with a brick, but clearly the brick's attack power was not enough. The two chased each other up the mountain, resulting in the already injured and bleeding Kong and Bell being pushed down the cliff by Min-suk, a strong survival. Instinct made him grab Min-suk's tie tightly, but Min-suk had no intention to ignore Kong and Bell because he was the one who bribed Kong and Bell to cause the traffic accident before. Furthermore, he knew clearly that he was hiding the truth of Ji-eun's death in the swimming pool, so he couldn't let Kong and Bell survive. Even though Kong and Bell begged him, he still slowly took off his tie, letting Kong and Bell just fall, but Min-suk doesn't understand why. That tie fell into Chae-ah's hands. It turned out that Kong and Bell was not dead, but because he was still raising his family, he did not dare to take revenge, so he had to go to Chae-ah and reveal to her Min-suk's true face. After knowing the truth, Chae-ah is still grateful to Min-suk for hiding the swimming pool incident for her. She had no intention of revealing Min-suk's behavior. She just asked him to discuss everything with her first to handle this matter smoothly. Chae-ah went to Kong and Bell's hideout and gave him $1,000,000 in cash and asked him to leave and never appear again, but this scene was seen by Ji-hyun. They're obviously doing some mysterious deal, so to find out the truth, Ji-hyun went to work at a restaurant that had many relationships with Suo. Chae-ah expressed dissatisfaction with Ji-hyun's presence. After all, she was still Suo's fiancée in name, but Chae-ah still politely asked if we had met before. Ji-hyun admitted that she had carried things to help Chae-ah before then while no one was paying attention. Ji-hyun silently investigated Chae-ah's company's documents. She also put a recording pen in the pen holder when she was about to leave. She accidentally heard the conversation of 2 brothers, Suo and such. At this moment, Ji-hyun knew that Suo, always so radiant, had suffered the pain of losing a loved one since childhood. As for Min-suk, he remembered what happened in the past 2 days. If he doesn't quickly deal with Kong and Bell, he doesn't dare to imagine what will happen in the future. So he went to Kong and Bell's former office and rummaged around, finally finding a secret book on the ceiling when he was about to leave. Kong and Bell attacked him from behind. Kong and Bell squeezed Min-suk's neck. He was extremely resentful of Min-suk, who turned him into a homeless dog and had to run away everywhere. Min-suk had just found the notebook, so he told Kong and Bell that I would help you escape. Only then did Kong and Bell let go. MSO then went to Suk-hal and handed over the secret notebook to him. Seeing his name on the notebook, Suk-hal, who was arrogant, immediately became afraid. It turned out that it was a notebook containing a list of drug buyers at Kong and Bell's place. Once this list is made public, Suk-hal will not be able to become the heir of the Chon tycoon family. Furthermore, he will also be imprisoned if this notebook is made public. Min tells him to make Kong and Bell innocent so his dirty secret will be covered. On the other hand, from the reporter, Ji-hyun knows that the police have stopped investigating Kang and Bell. Suo also learned this news through his lawyer's family. Even if the crime of murder is committed, as long as the prosecutor does not prosecute, the crime will not be established. But Ji-hyun and Soo did not know that it was all arranged by Min-suk to fulfill his promise to investigate the truth with Ji-hyun. Soo went to the police station and openly admitted to the media that at his previous party there were people using drugs. Furthermore, he sincerely invited the media to continue monitoring the progress of the investigation. This action of his has caused the company to get into trouble. The knife was also pointed straight at Kang and Bell, who murdered Ji-hyun's mother to lure Kang-yi and Bell. Ji-hyun stole Chae-oh's phone through the call history. Ji-eun sent a message to Kang and Bell to meet him at the old place at a.m. tomorrow morning in the police station. Because of media pressure, the police promised to take action tomorrow. The next day there were many policemen guarding the place where Kang and Bell often appeared, just as the police were complaining that Ji-hyun following them would only cause trouble. Kang and Bell slowly walked over, and at the same time he received a call from Min-suk telling him to leave immediately. The policeman ambushing upstairs quickly chased after them, finally arresting Kang and Bell and taking him to the police. After knowing this, President Chon was extremely angry. Previously, he spent billions for Min-suk to hide this case, but now it happened that Kang and Bell also knew about the swimming pool incident. This makes him unable to help but doubt Min-suk's working ability. After hearing this news, Suk-hal started causing trouble. He received a piece of data from within the police station and discovered that the day Ji-hyun's mother had an accident, Soo and Ji-hyun's phone signals also appeared nearby. He asked Min-suk to use this to completely defeat Soo. Based on this clue, Min-suk created an extremely sophisticated plan. He will go to prison to bribe Kang and Bell and let Kang and Bell reveal things. That are detrimental to Soo. Not long after Min-suk took the identity of a lawyer to the police station according to the established plan. Min-suk told Kang and Bell to declare that he was ordered by Soo, so he created a traffic accident to kill people. Furthermore, Min-suk also promised that after Kang and Bell finished testifying, he would give Kang and Bell a large sum of money when Kang and Bell is brought to court. Min-suk will still think of a way to let him escape, but if he does not agree, Kang and Bell will spend the rest of his life in prison. Kang and Bell has no other choice. Min-suk then went to find the police officer who was bribed by him, and the secret plot of these two people was successfully agreed upon. The next plan will be an even bigger conspiracy. The very next day, Min-suk gave a dagger to Kang and Bell and told him that he should leave this world by himself now. Min-suk then took a knife and cut his own palm. The policeman next to him raised the gun in his hand. Kang and Bell was bewildered yesterday in prison. Min-suk promised that as long as he confessed that Soo was the one who ordered him to kill Ji-hyun's mother, Min-suk would find a way to let him escape on the way to court. Min-suk also told Kang and Bell that the police had been bribed by him, so in the police station, Kang and Bell confessed that he was ordered by Soo then, under the arrangement of the police. Kang and Bell was bribed by Min-suk to be put in a car and taken to court on the other side through a cell phone. Soo discovered unusual traces of Min-suk. It turns out that when investigating Kang and Bell's call history, Soo discovered that Min-suk was involved and felt Ji-hyun's mother's death definitely be related to Min-suk. So a few days before meeting Min-suk, Soo secretly installed a tracking device on Min-suk's car. Soo quickly set out to the location that had been located and also informed the reporter, who always wanted to expose the truth of the swimming pool case. The police car stopped in a deserted place, and Kang and Bell was taken to a deserted place. Min-suk had been waiting there for a long time. That's why the previous scene appeared. Min-suk told Kang and Bell that he couldn't hide anymore, everywhere was hell. At this moment, Kang and Bell knew that Min-suk did not want to let him escape. When Kang and Bell knew he was trapped, he wanted to run away. But Min-suk took the gun from the police without hesitation and shot Kang and Bell just as he was about to fire the second shot. Soo shouted to stop Min-suk. The reporter also ran after facing the reporter's cameras, even though he thought he was caught red-handed at the senses. Min-suk still said that suspect Kang and Bell wanted to run away, so they were just arresting him after seeing Min-suk speak so brazenly. Kang and Bell took the opportunity to shout that it was Min-suk who asked him to slander Soo and order him to kill Ji-hyun's mother. Then Min-suk would let him escape, but he did not expect Min-suk to betray him and want to kill him to hide the truth. Meanwhile, Min-suk said that to defraud him of money, Kang and Bell created fake evidence. He then said that if today's matter was exposed, it would be difficult for the public to distinguish between good and bad, and as a result, only Soo and the entire Chai family would be in danger before leaving. Min Suk told Soo that he should think carefully about whether to make this public. However, the TV station still posted the reporter's interview with Ji Hyun along with a video recording today's scene. The truth will be revealed this evening. Min Suk looked at the TV stunned. He immediately called the director of the television station. It turns out that yesterday the reporter investigating this incident suddenly received news that she was fired. When she arrived at the director's office, she saw Min Suk just coming out of the office. Min Suk also told her that she shouldn't confront him. This scene was seen by Soo after Min Suk left. Soo also entered the director's office, seeing the news on TV. Ji Hyun was extremely happy the moment she had been waiting for was finally coming. As for Soo, his mood was very worried because the content in the news included a reporter interviewing him. He said it was possible that he was the main cause of Ji Hyun's younger sister's death, remembering Ji Hyun's reaction back then and the trust Ji Hyun had in him. He didn't know how he should face Ji Hyun after the truth was revealed after a period of intense mental struggle. Soo decided to be honest with Ji Hyun, but this world is so magical. When Soo was wondering how to talk to Ji Hyun, Min Suk and Chae-ah were also discussing this. Min Suk tells Chae-ah that now Kong and Bell has been arrested, which means everything they wanted to hide will probably be exposed to the public. Min Suk also emotionally said that he wanted to protect her forever, but now he was powerless. Chae-ah said that from now on just leave everything to her on the other side. Soo was preparing to tell Ji Hyun the truth, that perhaps he was the cause of her younger sister's death, when he received unacceptable news that the detention camp is on fire. This girl's mother died in a traffic accident, knowing clearly that her mother's death was caused by someone else, but because the detention center caught fire, the perpetrator was burned in a sea of flames in a thrilling way. The police ended this case in a simple way, and at the same time, the Righteous program that was supposed to speak up for vulnerable people was also stopped from broadcasting. Min Suk received a salary of up to $1 billion from the Chai group to hide the truth. Today an uninvited guest came to Ji Hyun's house, and because of her appearance, Ji Hyun aroused hope of exposing the truth about her younger sister's death. This girl is a close friend of Ji Hyun's younger sister. This girl came to give Ji Hyun a bloody handbag on the night that Ji Eun passed away. Chae-ah took this bag and repeatedly hit Ji Eun's head from Ji Eun's best friend story. Ji Hyun learned that Min Suk had previously given Ji Eun's best friend a sum of money to keep the truth a secret further, and also threatened this girl not to reveal the truth. Ji Hyun quickly took the bag for testing, and sure enough, the blood on the bag was her younger sister's blood. Ji Hyun intended to announce this news to the reporter, who always helped her investigate the case, but then she was stunned to realize that the reporter had always kept secret contact with Min Suk. Seeing Ji Hyun suddenly appear, both Min Suk and the reporter were extremely confused, but right after that, Chae-ah walked out and made Ji Hyun understand everything. It turns out that after the detention, camp caught fire. The reporter who always helped her was lured by Chae-ah, and even became a department director in Chae-ah's company, so Ji Hyun had no choice but to find Soo, the only person she could trust right now, and tell him the truth. After all, Chae-ah is still his fiancé, so Ji Hyun did not want to hide it from him but directly denounced Chae-ah. After listening to Ji Hyun, Soo was extremely surprised. At this point, he realized that Chae-ah had come to his house that night, but what makes him feel even more pressured is that Ji Hyun now no longer trusts the police and the media but puts her trust in him. Then he went to find Chae-ah, seeing the evidence before her eyes. Chae-ah had to admit the truth that she had gone to Soo house that night. Moreover, she also beat Ji Hyun's younger sister to the point of injury, but Chae-ah also said that as a fiancé, she couldn't keep calm when she saw a strange woman wearing scanty clothes in her fiancé's house at that time. Chae-ah did not expect that she only beat that girl once but indirectly killed that girl in the red dress. She always hid this truth because Soo was also present in the house at that time. Could it be that she confessed and then gave his name? If so, she would immediately confess. Soo said it was fine, so the two of them went to the police station. Coincidentally, the person who welcomed them was the police officer who was bribed by Min Suk to hide the truth. The police said that the autopsy results were already available, although there was a wound on the head. The main cause of death was suffocation underwater. If you only declare verbally like that, it will be impossible to conduct a reinvestigation, so just because there was no evidence, the case was not established. Soo is helpless and doesn't know what to do now. He has no other way to help Ji Hyun because in order to get more clues to help Ji Hyun, he decided to marry Chae-ah ahead of time in front of many reporters' cameras. He kneeled down on one knee and gave a proposal ring to the girl he didn't love. Chai also knew that Suo was just pretending, but she still accepted his proposal that night. Suo got drunk and went to Ji-hyun's door. He confessed all the pain that he had previously hidden in his heart halfway through speaking. Suo's illness suddenly recurred. He fell to the ground, suffering from excruciating pain, looking at Suo, who had a severe headache. Ji-hyun quickly ran through the rain to buy medicine. At this moment, a man wearing a hat sneaked into Ji-hyun's house. When Ji-hyun returned, she saw Suo, who had restored his normal appearance and was waiting for her. Suo threw the medicine bag on the ground and said he didn't need this. His actions made Ji-hyun very angry. She questioned Suo that if he didn't need it, why did he come to find her and not Chai-ah? Then she turned around and was about to leave when Suo said he missed her very much. Ji-hyun immediately stopped and saw Suo's panicked expression hearing his unexpected confession. Ji-hyun felt unimaginable. Finally, she still turned around and left. After returning home, Ji-hyun suddenly discovered 2 memory cards on the bed. She opened them, and inside was Suo's confession. When being interviewed by a reporter at this time, she knew that the person in the room where her sister was murdered, which she had always been looking for, was Suo, the poor girl who has now fallen into madness. Just now she heard the truth about her younger sister's death through her ex-lover. Min-suk told Ji-hyun the whole truth. Suo didn't want to get married, so he brought her younger sister home to intentionally anger Chai-ah. Then there was the story that Chai-ah beat her younger sister, and even intentionally threw money into the swimming pool, causing her younger sister to die. Hearing Min-suk say that because she wanted to repay her mother's debt, it was possible that her younger sister got involved in drugs. Ji-hyun's tears fell. She angrily scolded Min-suk for previously listening to evil and hiding the truth. Min-suk told Ji-hyun that even if he doesn't do it, someone else will. This society is a society of the rich. The poor have absolutely no right to demand justice. The truth is created by the powerful. The poor have no power, no matter how much injustice they suffer. No one cares. He hopes that after Ji-hyun knows the truth, she will stop resisting in vain. What Min-suk said completely shattered Ji-hyun's remaining hope. She herself also knew everything was true. As Min-suk said, even if she protested, nothing would change. Even though she cried, no one came to comfort her on the other side. Suo went to choose a wedding dress with Chai-ah but was extremely worried because since the night he confessed his love to Ji-hyun, he has never seen her. When Chai-ah finished changing into her wedding dress and stepped out, she discovered that Suo was nowhere to be seen. It turned out that Ji-hyun's best friend called Suo to tell him that Ji-hyun left a note and left home. Suo looked everywhere Ji-hyun could go and finally found her in a bar. At this time, Ji-hyun changed into different clothes than before. She wears seductive, sexy clothes. She was so drunk that she couldn't walk. There is a saying that extreme pressure can knock a person down. Ji-hyun has changed. She said the feeling of spending money like water is really great. It's just a pity that the money she worked so hard for over the years was spent in just 4 short days. Of course, money is important, but it's not everything. There are also things that are much more important than it. Even if it's more important, you can use money to buy it. Even people's hearts can be bought with money. She also said that someone like Suo with a lot of money probably wouldn't understand because he would never be in a situation where he runs out of money. Now that she has begun to dream of a life with money, she told Suo she was born rich, so he should take her to experience life with money. Suo had guilt in his heart, so of course he couldn't refuse. First, she asked Suo for a very large house. To Suo, that money is nothing. Then she went to the restaurant where she used to work to eat premium steak and drink expensive red wine. She didn't forget to ask Suo to raise the restaurant staff's salary, which made Chai-ah feel extremely unhappy. Suo in the office asked him if besides atonement, he also had other feelings for Ji-hyun. Suo denied it, but Chai-ah felt that Suo cared more about Ji-hyun than her. After that, Ji-hyun went to the high-end store to throw away the watch she liked the most as a gift from her younger sister. She chose a watch worth a whole house. Of course it's still Suo who pays, but as soon as she turned around she considered the watch as trash. She gave it to the old woman collecting trash on the side of the road. Suo couldn't stand it anymore. He asked her how long she had to do this until it was over, but Ji-hyun coldly replied that until she died. And next morning Suo was woken up by the alarm clock next door, seeing it ringing non-stop, but no one responded. Realizing something unusual, Suo skillfully unlocked Ji-hyun's door and quickly carried the unconscious Ji-hyun to the hospital. He completely did not pay attention to Chai-ah standing outside the door to the hospital. Suo's body was tired and exhausted after taking care of Ji-hyun all day, but after waking up, Ji-hyun was not grateful. She even said she would pull out the four to threaten Suo to leave her hospital room. Chae-ah also went to the hospital. Ji-hyun arrogantly said that Chae-ah was pitiful. Ji-hyun also proudly told Chae-ah that the real reason Suo wanted to marry you soon was because of me. Only then did Chae-ah realize that Suo proposed to her to help Ji-hyun. She was completely devastated and stood there, not knowing what to do. Now no woman can stand that humiliation. The next day, Chae-ah told President Chan that she wanted to cancel the engagement. Suo knew it was all because of Ji-hyun's harassment, but he didn't know that this was just the beginning of her revenge. Didn't you say you would do everything for me? Suo said that it was just something he could do. Ji-hyun said you should marry me. The tycoon's rebellious son was forced into marriage by an ordinary employee. Moreover, he couldn't find any reason to refuse. Then at Ji-hyun's request the two of them lay on the same bed. Ji-hyun made him laugh, even though he didn't want to laugh. That photo was posted by Ji-hyun on her personal page. This made the public extremely surprised. Everyone thought it was because of this woman that Suo was cancelled the engagement. Chairman Chan knew about this, so he immediately ordered Min Suk to investigate the true reason why Suo and Chae-ah broke off their engagement. As for Ji-hyun, she is now starting her revenge plan. First, she enticed Suo's brother and stepmother. Both mother and son happily agreed because in their eyes, as long as Suo lost Chae-ah's support, he would absolutely not be a competitor for them for inheritance. Not long after, Ji-hyun and Suo held a private wedding ceremony, which made Suo's father extremely dissatisfied, but even if he protested, nothing could be changed. After the wedding ended, Ji-hyun and Suo returned to the place they called home. Even though they are together, their hearts cannot get close to each other. Suo knows he doesn't have much time left, so he just wants to live peaceful days, but Ji-hyun did not have that intention. Just after getting married, she asked to sleep in two separate rooms. Suo is not allowed in her room every day. Suo still prepares dinner very meticulously, but Ji-hyun doesn't even glance at him once. Suo clearly knew Ji-hyun's purpose for marrying him. Seeing Ji-hyun enter the room, he had to embrace his own loneliness. Not long after, with the help of Suo's stepmother and brother, Ji-hyun sat in the chair of general director of Chan Group's charity fund. From then on, she took advantage of her position as general manager to do good deeds everywhere. She shaped her image into an angel because she knows clearly that only when she has enough influence will others believe her words, even if what she says is just a lie. Under the coordination of Suo to donate a large amount of money, the media competed to report on Ji-hyun's charity work story. After hearing this news, the president called Min Suk to his house and scolded. Although he favored this son, he valued the company's interests more. He must stop this daughter-in-law he doesn't like, so he called Min Suk to his place and then hinted that you should deal with Ji-hyun. The president also said a meaningful sentence that if Min Suk refused to act, someone would do it for him. After thinking, Min Suk pretended to agree with Chairman Chan's orders, but someone like him who has done countless bad things cannot take action against Ji-hyun. Instead, he took out a large sum of money and asked Ji-hyun to leave this place. He also told her that if she didn't leave, she would be in danger. Of course, Ji-hyun will not listen to Min Suk by this time. She was no longer afraid of anything. She publicly disclosed all the black documents of the Chan Group that she had investigated during the past time. This action made Chairman Chan extremely angry. He called and fired Min Suk for not working according to his requirements, then gave Director Nan the task of handling guns today. Suo was discussing work with Chae-ah in the office when suddenly his illness relapsed. He had a severe headache and collapsed to the floor. Chae-ah also noticed Suo's strangeness, but Suo didn't tell her about his illness. Chae-ah pretended to be Suo's fans to go ask the doctor at this time. She learned that Suo was terminally ill and did not have much time left. Moreover, this illness caused Suo's eyesight to be reduced by half. If the illness continues, he will be completely blind. Chae-ah remembers what Suo once told her, her tears. It turns out that when the two of them were still in love, Suo once said that if he was still alive a year later, he would hold a wedding with Chae-ah. At this moment, all her resentment towards Suo suddenly disappeared. She only thinks about how to save the man she once loved. After many conversations and advice with Suo, Suo finally agreed to go abroad for treatment. Even if there is only % hope, he will still do his best to help Ji-hyun. But before leaving, he wanted to take the restaurant staff out together because he didn't want to leave any regrets with everyone's help. He finally invited Ji-hyun to go with everyone. Suo prepares a small gift for each employee, then he personally puts on the necklace he had prepared a long time ago for Ji-hyun. Finally, a smile appeared on his face before leaving. Jian asked Suo if there was anything he wanted to say to her. She asked if he was unwell, but Suo said he would tell her after returning home. Ji-hyun also rarely confides in Suo. She expresses her gratitude for helping her investigate the case of her younger mother and sister. This is the first time the two of them have sat together since getting married, but Ji-hyun still didn't say she forgives him afterwards. Ji-hyun walked alone in the woods when suddenly a man in black used a towel to cover her mouth. A moment later, Suo ran to find Ji-hyun and only saw her phone drop there. Then he saw a shoe on the beach. He looked forward and saw the unconscious Ji-hyun floating on the ocean surface, now gradually sinking. Suo ran there as fast as he could and tried to swim towards Ji-hyun. When he was about to come to her, suddenly his illness recurred. Seeing Ji-hyun right in front of his eyes, he couldn't continue moving forward and struggled in the sea for a long time. After that, his body gradually sank. The guilt and love arising from Suo's name for Ji-hyun forever sank into the bottomless ocean. He also fulfilled the wish he once wished for when he was alive. Ji-hyun was brought to shore by lifeguards. After waking up, she saw Suo being treated nearby. Ji-hyun couldn't believe her eyes when she got closer. She saw that Suo had stopped breathing. Finally, her tears fell, but it was too late. Suo has left them forever. Receiving the bad news, President Chan hurriedly returned. He did not dare to believe that the son he loved the most was no longer in this world. He asked what happened, but Ji-hyun said it was all his fault. She knew that Chairman Chan had ordered someone to assassinate her. Faced with Ji-hyun's questioning, Chairman Chan still refused to admit that it was because he wanted to kill Ji-hyun that it led to Suo's death. On the contrary, he even blamed Ji-hyun while the two were arguing fiercely. Chai-ah was next to them and told them that Suo was terminally ill. Hearing Chai-ah's words, everyone fell silent. Now things have become like that during the time of sadness. They didn't find out whose fault it was anymore. Suo writes a will to everyone, including his father. Although the content is not long, it clearly writes the feelings from the bottom of his heart that he wants to reveal to everyone after the funeral ends. Ji-hyun went to the police station and told the police to investigate the truth of Suo's death. The police irresponsibly replied that perhaps because Suo had an incurable disease, he temporarily thought about bad things and gave up his life, seeing that the police were still as indifferent as they were when investigating Ji-eun's case. Ji-hyun got angry and said that this time she would definitely investigate to the end. Furthermore, she will notify reporters to monitor the results of the police station's investigation together. On the other side, his son's death still cannot make Chairman Chan wake up. He orders Director Nam to kidnap Min-suk. After waking up, Min-suk discovered that his kidnapper was Director Nam, so he surmised that the person who wanted to assassinate Ji-hyun was definitely Director Nam. He used a knife to take some of Min-suk's blood to falsely accuse him of attempting to murder Ji-hyun. Director Nim also forced Min-suk to write a letter confessing his guilt, but Mino did not give up easily, taking advantage of the time the guard was not on guard. He attacked them and fled in an emergency. He had to ask Ji-hyun to save him. He kneeled down and cried, begging for Ji-hyun's forgiveness, and even said that he would help her reveal the entire truth of the incident because of Suo's death. Chai-ah also went to find Ji-hyun. They are willing to join forces to overthrow Chairman Chan, but they have no evidence, so Chai-ah went to find Chairman Chan. She told him that Min-suk held all the secret criminal evidence of the Chan group, realizing that the situation was not okay. Chairman Chan immediately ordered Director N to quickly move all key evidence out. Then Ji-hyun and Min-suk blocked the road and stole all the evidence. Not long after, President Chan led his subordinates to the house where they were hiding. When Director Nam was about to rush in to steal the evidence, Min-suk suddenly pulled out a gun. The scene suddenly went out of control. At this moment, Chairman Chan offered a large amount of money to bribe Min-suk. As long as Min-suk kills Ji-hyun, he will transfer 1 billion won to Min-suk right now. Furthermore, Chairman Chan also vowed not to cause trouble with Min-suk again. Chairman Chan then ordered his subordinates to transfer money immediately. Min-suk's phone quickly received a text message adding money. At this time, Chairman Chan said to kill Ji-hyun. Unexpectedly, Min-suk actually pointed the gun at Ji-hyun. Furthermore, he pulled the trigger without hesitation. Ji-hyun felt like he was falling into a bottomless ocean just like Suo did at that time, but she smiled because soon she would see her mother, younger sister, and husband again. Although he witnessed Min-suk open fire and shoot Ji-hyun, Chairman Chan still did not feel secure. It wasn't until Director Nam brought back the news that Ji-hyun's body had not been found that Chairman Chan immediately felt something was strange. Actually, this is part of the three people's plan. Ji-hyun only suffered superficial injuries and no serious problems. Chai-ah promptly saved her at a critical moment. It turns out that from the beginning they installed surveillance cameras in the house, the purpose of which was to record evidence of Chairman Chan bribing the murderer after getting better. Ji-hyun immediately thought of a way to fight back. First, she found an internet shop and uploaded the video of Chairman Chan bribing Min Suk to kill her to social media. Then she went to a crowded square and started live streaming. Thanks to her previous public charity work, she has accumulated many fans. Her live stream room attracted a large number of passers-by and reporters to watch. She wants to expose the truth about the deaths of her mother and younger sister. Upon receiving this news, President Chan and Chai also arrived at the scene in front of the public and the camera lens. Ji Hyun recounted the Min Suk fortune that her younger sister and mother had encountered. To find out the truth, she tried a lot, but the results were extremely disastrous. Furthermore, her husband's death was also sketchy, concluded by the police standing in front of power. No matter how much she begged or how much she screamed, no one would listen to her words. This is the tycoon class's contempt for human life. She pointed the knife at Chairman Chan, who was next to also testify. At the same time, she frankly admitted her role in a series of events that happened. Furthermore, she also frankly said that in the past she could not sympathize with Ji Hyun's helplessness and despair after losing a loved one, but it wasn't until Soo tragically passed away that she felt it as soon as she finished speaking. Chai, without hesitation, kneeled down in front of Ji Hyun and apologized to her. Ji Hyun turned to look at Chairman Chan, but Chairman Chan still refused to admit his mistake. He turned around and left amidst public criticism. However, under the strong protests of the righteous people, Chairman Chan was soon arrested by the police. Ji Hyun thought that this time with video evidence it would be easy to convict Chairman Chan, but unexpectedly Director Nam used the excuse that Ji Hyun and Min Suk were once lovers, so he asked Ji Hyun to prove the authenticity of the video director. Nam said their purpose was to defraud billion won. Moreover, Min Suk took the money and ran away. But at this moment, Min Suk appeared in court holding a check for billion won. He proactively went to court to testify and told the truth of the incident that he knew in court. Chai was also present in court. She actively admitted the truth that she had beaten Ji Hyun's younger sister. But when the judge mentioned that she had set fire to the detention center to kill Kong and Bell, she replied that it was just a trap. Kong and Bell was not dead. Then the police arrested Kong and Bell, who was still alive. Faced with countless authentic pieces of evidence, President Chan could no longer resist through the court's verdict. Chairman Chan, Director Nam Min Suk, and Kong and Bell all received deserved punishment. As for Chai, because she could not prove that she was the person who directly led to Ji Hyun's younger sister's death, so she was acquitted at this point. Everything ended. Ji Hyun finally opened the letter that Soo wrote to her when he was still alive. Scenes from the two people's past gradually appeared before her eyes, causing Ji Hyun to shed tears. Perhaps it wasn't until this moment that Ji Hyun truly considered Soo her husband. Thank you everyone for watching. See you in the next video. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel.